family. Welcome. Here we are again. It's 8 o'clock. It's Thursday. That means you know what time it is. It's time to talk. Again, as always, the book is still for sale. It's still out there on the market. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, me, anywhere that you can get the book, it is still available. Let's keep pushing it. Had a lot of great feedback about what it did for them as far as remembering their journey, or for people who didn't have the conventional journey, how it's helping them in their process, in their journey. So I'm grateful for all the feedback, and I thank you. But for those that haven't copied it yet, make sure that you get your copy, and definitely I'll sign it when you see me. Family, thanks to all of our great sponsors, IMP, RST, Dr. Jason O'Geest, just everybody that's made this possible. Again, I thank you. Family, here we are another week talking with great people who have products and services that influence our industry. I know y'all have read the write-up, but just as excited as y'all are to talk to her today. But in getting there, have you found yourself trying to reignite that passion in yourself? Have you been wondering, what more can I do? How can I unlock more in myself? To be transparent, those are questions I had of myself, not even that long ago. I would say just last year, I found myself, yes, you make it to certain positions, and you try to start questioning yourself about how to continue or what's next. What I found in doing that, I saw myself, I found myself in a class called Reset. And in that class, you learn a lot about you. You learn about your perseverance. You learn techniques that help you reset, as it says, reset yourself. And you get a clearer vision of where it is you want to go, how you're getting there. And in some aspects, if you were not, I won't say wasting time, but you see that certain things were out of sync, and how to put that back to where it should be. That is where this episode, I hope you get from this episode about the journeys, and actually listen to the words that she will probably give. I'm excited to talk to her. People who know me and know my story know that I'm on that journey with Knowledge or Nonsense. So y'all seen me on that show. Y'all know I'm a part of that platform. But this is different. This is you getting to know the woman behind the scenes. This is you getting to find out how these programs can help you. How can they apply to you and your journey? I'm here to help you do that. So, family, without further ado, I would like to welcome the one, the only Miss Sharyn Combs to the platform today. Sharyn, how are you?
Hey, Kenneth, I'm well. Thanks for having me on today.
You know, with everything that is happening in the landscape of sterile processing, people are in that feeling burnt out. People are looking toward the future. They're worried about the AI and all these things that you're hearing going on. People are starting to wonder more, what more can they do? We're going to get them there, but for the people who don't know, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows, but for the people who don't know, who is Sharyn Combs?
That's exactly who I am. My name is Sharyn Combs. I stumbled, I guess, across this industry. My sister worked in the industry. My background is in social work and leadership studies. And so I do like helping individuals identify their options, kind of break through some stuff with social work. If you know anything about social work, you're helping people who may be underserved, disenfranchised, just things like that. And so in the sterile processing industry, I find that there was a lot of there were marginalized communities, there's a large portion in the sterilization industry that come from marginalized communities.
Right.
And working with them, I'm like, these people know this stuff like the back of their hand. But a lot of individuals were not in leadership positions, or if they got in leadership positions, they wanted to get out. And since I had that social work background in the leadership studies, like I said, from university, I was like, what is a way that I can add value to the people of the industry? Not just, how can I come up, but how can I add value to the people of the industry in a way that still helps the industry out? And I just was like, I can share my skill set with them. They have the technical skills. And so that's me in a nutshell. If it's an option, I believe people can do it. UCDI simply stands for you can do it. I believe there's a lot more possibility out there than people may see at first glance. So that's who I am. Other than that, it's right here.
Right. I love that acronym for UCDI because it's powerful. It just simply, as simple as it is telling somebody you can do it. Like, so
Yeah.
how do we get them there? Just based on what you just said, though, in talking and dealing with sterile processing leaders and techs, has it been a challenge to get them to embrace revealing or being transparent with themselves?
I think that answer is going to be specific to the person or the group that I'm actually working with at that time. There have been people who they knew without a shadow of a doubt, this is the timing. I want this out of me. I want to grow. I want to go to the next level. Can you help me unlock that? Absolutely. I can, not a problem. Let's get in there. Let's see what it is. And how do I help unlock that? Not unlock me, but help unlock whatever invisible and intangible barriers may be preventing the growth or the scalability. And so with that timing there, when they're ready and their timing is there, woohoo, it works just like this. It works. I'm not saying it's easy. Simple doesn't mean easy, but
Right.
It works better because they're engaged. They're like, yes. Now with others, if it's like a mandatory group training or your director is bringing me in and I'm working with, say, supervisors or managers in that aspect, sometimes it's more difficult because sometimes people want to hold on to blame or they don't want to release offenses. It's amazing how something can happen and you can be right. You can be right. Maybe that manager or the director or the doctor, they were wrong. They were dead wrong. You right. They were wrong for how they talked about you. They didn't know what was going on. They're wrong for lying on you. They're wrong for putting all 27 people on that email thread like that. Yes, they're wrong. And so some people don't want to let that go. And it's not easy. Again, simple doesn't mean easy. So with individuals like that, it's a little harder because there's been a hurt. There's been a hurt there. And people may not want to admit that they're hurt or that there's resentment. And that's a block, man. That is a blockage.
When people are going through that and that mental, you say that mental block is there from just trying to get them to open up, that initial stages, if they're in that, I won't say denial, but if they're holding on to that, how does that work for you to try to get somebody to let go of that?
Again, my hum is to help people find their hum. So they may not let go of it. They may just loosen their grip.
Okay.
I may only be able to help them loosen their grip. But in loosening their grip, if they can see where it is impacting their growth and the people they care about, then they may let it go. They may let it go 6 months from now or a year from now. But if I've done my part, like what's the game? Is it Jenga or whatever, where you pull the little wood out? If I've done my part to pull out that block that was creating it, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't fight people because here's the deal. When someone is hurt, it does me no good to be like, you hurt, you hurt, you hurt. If I keep rehearsing the same thing and trying to force feed you, I'm choking you out. I'm not helping you. I'm choking you out.
Right.
And so if I can just remove the block, and then you create a safe space for them, and whether they want to share that with you or not, that's fine. I can know someone is hurt, or I can know that there's a barrier. It may not even be hurt. It may be anger. It may be they just don't know. They could just be like not confident yet. You know what I'm saying? Because they've seen so many barriers. Whatever the barrier is, I may be able to see it, but it may not be for me to tell them exactly what it is at that time. It's for me to unlock it, give them tools, get the processes and practice in there. You mentioned some things about reset. Most of the time with reset, the foundational work is 30 days, but those first few days, we're hitting something so that when you do start making that progress, you don't forfeit it because your emotions are still a little out of whack or your mental. Yeah.
I heard you say if a director brings you in to work with the supervisors and stuff, so you can work with individuals or you can do a group as that team. Does that change the dynamic of the thought process if you're working with a leadership team versus individuals from different leadership teams?
It does. It does. It does change the dynamic, and it presents its own unique set of challenges, but therefore it also yields its own unique set of rewards too. So you may have to do a little more groundwork, a little more foundational work, but then you can build a bigger structure. And most directors who are bringing me in, most directors want to empower their team. Whether the team knows it or not, they want to see you win. I have not met one director that did not want to see their team win. So when they bring me in, they want to see the team win, but they also want to lessen the amount of turnover they have. They want their team to be able to effectively communicate to key stakeholders, whether it's the physician, the CNO, surgical services, whatever it is. And so it does present a unique set of challenges initially, but the structure will be stronger toward the end. And what happens is, people begin to make informed decisions. You have some people who are in leadership. And when I say leadership, I mean they have a position, whether that's a supervisor, manager, whatever. But they may not consider themselves leadership. They may be like, no, this is just my position. And if your director is expecting leadership type qualities out of you, then right there, that's okay, we don't have the same set of expectations for this role. And so when you bring somebody else in, then you can identify those things. And I'd be like, well, they're not doing their job. They may feel like they're doing their job. They didn't sign up for the leadership expectations. They signed up to educate somebody and let them know about a tray and find the instruments or answer the phone if the OR call. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it. And now you want them to lead somebody else and help them with critical thinking and to develop these skills. They're like, I didn't sign up for that. And so that's a reality. That's the reality of the field we work in.
That's funny and interesting at the same time, because I do and have been to facilities where you have a lead, but that lead isn't considered part of the leadership team. So I can see where that crossing of the lines could happen.
Yeah.
When you're teaching or when you're training that leadership team, that's different than reset. So is that a different course altogether?
Yes. Again, being in this field and coming in, I did some things before 2012, like writing RFPs and just learning some of the language. But when 2012 came and I came in with SIPS and I was working with SIPS, and SIPS gave me an opportunity. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Karen, who was a technician who worked her way all the way up, started her company. She wanted to create a network of business owners. And if you look at the field now, you can see where that has been effective. It's way more companies that show just diversity, people who are inside the field doing it, and so many companies. Anyway, I digress. So when I came into this field, I could see, man, I just saw the people. And so with the reset, I was already doing things of that nature.
Okay.
So you asked me, was reset different? Reset is something I started doing in my own life, period. I was doing it before it was a service. I did it in my own life. Out of my John Maxwell, my leadership training, my Crush the Stage, I'm a human behavior consultant. Everything that comes with the leadership and being a speaker and an author, Reset comes from that. Looking at what's working, what's not working. What do I want to double down on? What do I not need to give attention to anymore? What's been fulfilled? What are my measurements? So Reset is something I did in my own life. And it began to yield incredible rewards. So I opened it up to some of my friends, some of the co-officials, some people I went to church with, such and such. Hey, y'all want to do this with me? I'm doing it every August. And they like, yeah. And sometimes people would, and sometimes they wouldn't. But I began to do it. And then the things that I wanted to see come to fruition began to come to fruition. It helped me to be so intentional with my time. Not only was I able to write books, I was able to publish books for other people. Not only was I able, I was like, what? Okay, this works. And I meet people in the field, and everybody doesn't have a director that's going to invest in them, but they want to grow. Right. Everybody in sterile processing doesn't have preceptor programs that maybe the OR has. Right. They may not have the resources that come from other fields. Sterile processing is not typically a super high paid field if you're not a traveler. And so part of my life is to give, and I want to be able to help people unlock the things that are in them if they want to help it move. So that's what happens with Reset. If you are talking about it's something you want to see done, that 30-day program will catapult you. That's why I'm able to guarantee the growth. If people show up and they do the work, I guarantee it. If at the end of 30 days it's not there, here's your money back. That's it.
That showed up to do the work. And that's why I say I wanted people to make sure they got it from you in the aspect of you're there to guide them through the process, but they do have to do something they have to participate. Yeah. You have to participate to get something out of it.
Yes. Yes. And those steps are broken down for you. You don't have to think about what to do.
Right.
It's broken down for you. And I don't think people understand this. A lot of people, some people do. Some of y'all out there, don't be mad. I'm just saying, a lot of people don't understand that it's possible to take one step without knowing the next 12. But maybe when you take that one step, after you get like 3 or 4 steps, now you parallel with the building. Now you can see the cross traffic. But if you would have never moved to get to that point, you wouldn't even be able to have the viewpoint that you have here 4 steps later. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. I was about to ask, like, how do you explain that to people who are afraid of the uncertain? Like, I know I want to step out there. I do, but I'm uncertain because I don't know what's beyond that first step.
I just tell them, that's it. You never will know. You have to step.
If you don't step, you don't know.
Yeah. At some point, you're going to be more afraid of not taking the step than you are of taking the step. And my hope is that you're not 60, 70, 90 years old when that happens. Time is the only commodity that doesn't replenish. You can be broke this week, but if you have a job, you'll get a check again in a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something else is, everything else is a cycle. Time doesn't replenish. Like, I'm never going to get yesterday back.
I heard you just say something a few minutes ago about making it intentional. Can you explain that a little bit more about making your time intentional?
Well, yeah. Like you may know, for 2023, I was like, make busy intentional. And somebody was like, I don't want to be intentionally busy. I said, okay. I get what you're saying. She's like, so I don't know if I like that shirt. And I said, okay, I understand that. I said, but for me and the people that I know, they're busy anyway.
Right.
So you may as well be busy on purpose. So make your busy intentional. Like, be intentional with your busyness. Be intentional about your day. Be intentional about your day. Time is like money. Well, in this case, when I say be intentional, I mean, like, if you know there's some things you want to do or want to see or even have to do,
right,
then be intentional about the time. Be intentional about the time. I'm trying to think. I have everyone has nephews and nieces too.
Yes.
But some of the, how some people are like, man, I want those shoes. I want those shoes. And they are intentional about saving up. They're intentional about knowing where the shoes are being sold. They put groundwork into getting what they want. They make their intentions.
Right.
If you men or women who know that they want to be with someone, they are intentional about how do I go about this? And that's what I'm saying. If you really want to be a manager, be a supervisor, you really want to get these certifications, then be intentional. Decide how I'm going to apply my time. And so I just try to help people be intentional. I cannot be intentional for them.
Right.
And I don't want them to be so legalistic. They're like, I gotta be intentional all the time. No, you don't. Nobody can live like that. You have to have some chill time, downtime, watch a movie, some popcorn, do nothing. You have to have all of that. But you can still do all of those things and be intentional. Does that answer your question?
Yes, because like I know I've had people ask that question. Well, what does he mean by make busy intentional? And people really don't. And it's kind of saying what the person said to you, like, I don't want to be busy all the time. But if I'm already busy all the time, at least I'm doing the things I know I need to do and want to do while I'm being that busy. But people have asked, and I was like, I'll let her explain it herself so that way they get the real understanding and not the misinterpretation of it.
Yeah.
So
sometimes, go ahead. I was gonna say, some people think I'm always busy. I'm not always busy. I am when I am, and I'm not when I'm not. I am when I am, and I'm not when I'm not. I like to take about 4 vacations a year. Now, some people hear that and they're like, oh, yeah, well, okay, how can you do that? Because I'm intentional. I don't take one vacation for 14 and 15 days, like those 2 weeks. You got 10 business days and you got a couple of weekends. The average person gets about 2 weeks of vacation time a year.
Right.
I don't do that. I find me some 3-day weekends. And I take that Thursday off or the following Tuesday off. But that's it. And so I get away somewhere for like 3 days. And I try to do it once a quarter, as I say, the church folks say, should the Lord allow. But I try to do that like once a quarter. And that's refreshing for me. That's refreshing for me. It doesn't mean I have to go to Timbuktu. I may do just a hotel, put my feet up somewhere, or go see a friend girl, have a girls' night, or, go drink some mimosas. I'm not always busy at all.
I think people don't look at a vacation as just a 3-day getaway. When people say they're on vacation, it's normally for the week, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. So that's an excellent point there that, hey, a 3-day weekend with an extra day off is still time away.
4 days.
Still that third day and add that day is still a time away that you're not.
If I take a 3-day weekend, right?
Right.
And I take off that Thursday, I can leave that Wednesday evening. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What if I fly back Monday and I'm back at work doing something, Monday by noon or something like that? That's a nice amount of days.
Right.
But I only got charged a day and a half of PTO, or you know what I'm saying, or time off. And so, and you said people don't normally think like that. But that's what part of the reset is: learning, unlearning, and relearning. You set your own normal. You set your own normal. Why can't I? Nice. Am I violating something? Is there some work that's not being done?
Just when you have an extra day off, is the work not getting good? No, not at all.
It's just different than what people are accustomed to thinking. And if what you're doing is not encroaching on the rights of someone else, come on, man. But that's all reset stuff right there. I ain't gonna give y'all no more. I may give you a little bit, but that's reset stuff.
Well, since we're talking about the different levels and different ideologies of Sharyn, let's talk about Hold Your Form for a second.
All right. Well, Hold Your Form is a book, and it is also a 3-month program, but it is emotional intelligence in its simplest form. Sometimes we talk about emotional intelligence and we get caught up in the language of cognitive dissonance and all the collegiate level language. When you boil it down to its simplest thing is emotional intelligence is not allowing your emotions to derail you or distract you for an extended period of time. We've all heard somebody say, like, couldn't be me. and maybe you've worked real hard to get someplace, to get a promotion. Someone says something crazy to you.
Right.
And now you're about to get on their level. Oh, you that's the smoke. I can match that same energy. Why would you match energy that's at a lower level than you are? Why would you come down from something you've worked for? And so that's what Hold Your Form really goes into. It gives us practical tips on how to navigate those things. It opens up. It's designed to facilitate aha moments. It's not designed to be super deep, but to facilitate aha moments. So maybe somebody else talking crazy to you, or maybe you finally get the traveling position you want. Just real talk, and you're making $10 or more an hour than you were making at your permanent position. You're
Right.
excited about it, and someone who works there is looking at you, and you like, well, she looking at me. She better quit looking at me. Let her look. Let her look. She's not touching you. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what I mean about emotional intelligence. What are you about to do because she's looking at you?
And then
How
mess
can you think
everything.
about going into your management or your agency or anything and be like, well, they were looking at me. And so now this job, what you've worked for,
Jeopardizing what you work for.
You are away from your family to make this money, to help healthcare, to patient safety, all the things that you want to do in front of you. And because you are not looking where you're going, focusing on your goals, being intentional, she looking at me. Come on, man.
I wish this was something that, I had known about like way back when I was traveling, because I actually saw that happen. Traveler got into it with a permanent party because I guess that women energy thing. I hate to say
heard it from fellas too.
Hey, they got the beefing in the department, and then it became a code gray situation, and security and everybody came, and it was ugly. But the traveler, at the end of the day, the traveler was the one they held like, hey, you're here visiting, so you're not here no more. So you lose a contract based on just, like you said, you work so hard to get somewhere, and then, but we got to talk a little bit more about Hold Your Form, but I want to give a quick commercial, and we're going to talk about the book, because the book is based off of the course, right? Or the course is,
the course is based,
the course coincide. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more right after this commercial.
Okay.
Y'all saw it. If you need help in any of those areas, from interim leadership to regular technicians, reach out to SIPS Consults to see how they can help you. Before the break, we were talking about Hold Your Form, and, as you say, it's the simple version of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I hear people throw that word around a lot. So how does Hold Your Form put it for, just say, us regular folk? How does Hold Your Form break it down to an aspect where anybody can get it?
Just that, hold your form. Hold your form. Most people don't wake up in the morning and think about somebody else's form. They think about what they need to do today, what they're going to get done today, what they would like to see today. Sometimes when people are disenfranchised, beat down, and burnt out, they be like, oh my God, why I got to go in today? But for the most part, people think about what they have to do that day. And so hold your form. Hold your form. Hold your goals in front of you. Hold what you consider valuable. Hold your values. Hold yourself. Don't get out of sorts about something. Now, if somebody put their hands on you, hey, I'm team defend yourself. Don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about being fake. If somebody is physically accosting you, hurting you, or something like that, please defend yourself. However you need to do that. But you don't have to get in every fight. Right. You don't even have to have the last word to have the final say. Like there are different ways. A lot of times in holding your form, first thing you have to know your form. Like, what are you here for? What are you here for? Like, what is your day for? And so that's what hold your form really is. Hold your form. Somebody cut you off in traffic. Is that it for you today? Is your day ruined? Is your whole day ruined? Because somebody whose name you don't know that was in a white truck cut you off at 7. Well, shift starts at 7. So at 6:16, they cut you off on this street. Right. Is your whole day gone? Kenneth, is your whole day gone because someone you don't know cut you off? Is that it for you? Is the rest of that day a wash? Are you mad for the rest of that day?
I'm gonna say I'm speaking for some people, yes.
Okay. Then that's easy. Then no matter how hard you work for whatever, it can always be snatched from you that easily. That easily.
In that same aspect, where you just said, if somebody is at the end of their rope and burned out, how do we maintain that form if you're not even sure what your day is, what you're gonna do? Because I'm burnt out. I mean, they've worked me to the bone, and you're gonna ask me one more thing, and I might snap.
Yeah.
How can you hold your form in that situation?
It's hard. It's hard because once we are burnt out, then how we see things change.
Right.
We're burnt out. It's like if someone's drowning and somebody reaches down to help them, they're going to pull that person down. When we are burnt out, we're in crisis mode. We're trying to make it through. And so even a hand is coming to help, we can hurt the hand that's coming to help because we're drowning. So definitely if you're burnt out, reset to help. If you're burnt out too, I know this sounds crazy to some people and they're like, I can't afford not to go to work. And I believe you can't. But I also know that if you don't do something about that burnout, you're going to quit anyway. True. You're going to quit anyway. You're going to quit or get fired because your energy is disruptive if you are burnt out, sustainable, if you always burnt out. So you have to do something about it. So for somebody who's wanting to hold their form and they're burnt out, if they don't know they're burnt out, I don't know how they're going to hold their form. They're really just existing, passing time, and everybody around them don't say nothing, like woo 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 woo. But if they can recognize, okay, I'm burnt out, as evidenced by how short I am with people, the lack of capacity I have to even interact with these folks. I don't want to help them. Don't ask me no questions. I don't have mercy. You had 4 flat tires on the way to work, and your first response is, well, you should have changed your tires last week. Like you don't really have mercy right now. Then you probably are a little burnt out. And if you can recognize some of those things, then the responsibility and the onus is on you. Now, if you are a new employee, you're new to the workforce, okay, maybe you don't know this yet. But for someone who's in a position of authority or leadership, you need to get away. So get somewhere where you can woosah, decompress, process what's going on, and make some informed decisions.
And part of my traveling here lately, that's been part of my presentation, has been the burnout. And you'd be surprised at the number of people, and I say they don't have to, but you'll be surprised at the number of leadership that raises their hand about not knowing if they're burned out until they do the assessment that I do during my presentation. And when they see their score, there's like, I wouldn't have thought that because I always work like this, or I'm always short-staffed, or so that might be something they need to, look into. Hold your form. Like I said, I picked up the book, and it was an eye-opener to certain things. And like I said, when you break it down into simple terms, it's simply you're talking about you, like holding you accountable for you. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people, again, if I'm burnt out, and you're right, You can see all the classic signs, being short with people, your work ethic change, all these things, and you're still, that person cut me off. It could be a bad day for everybody.
Yeah.
It's those type of things. So I appreciate you being a resource that people can go to for that. I'm going to end with reset because I want people to really focus on what you say about reset. But then I saw that you were a part of another project, Wild.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Now that's not completely different, but it is. That was awesome. I was able to partner with Sharon Green Golden, subject matter expert in sterilization processes, Karen Cherry, business owner who started her own company, SIPS, but has other companies as well, real estate companies, foundation, the Cherry Foundation, Lila Price, educator, system-wide educator who really understands how to educate people in the sterilization industry. And then me, because Wild was what I learned during the pandemic.
Right.
And like you said, a lot of leaders don't recognize that they're burnt out, or people don't know that because you're so busy in the grind, you can't even look up to see. Because if you look up, you may miss something because you're so busy in the grind. And so I was able to write. They all spoke to like the sterile processing, SBARs, how to create these processes, emergency use, how to educate, what type of business decisions you are making. I was able to speak to like cognitive dissonance and how it shows up in the workforce, in our lives. You know, I don't know if you remember, but it's what I learned during the pandemic.
Right.
When things first shut down, people were saying some crazy things like, well, if you Black people in America, Black people, there was a rapper who was like, well, Black people can't get COVID. And I was like, but it's a what? Like, it's not a skin disease. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not topical. So there was that. That was some misinformation there. Learning what's misinformation versus disinformation. People telling people to, oh my gosh, sterilize, single use. Somebody tried to put a gown in a sterilizer. What are you talking about? You know it's melted. What are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? What are we doing? And so they allowed me to really weigh in at the end on cognitive dissonance because there was frustration and burnt outness and confusion and angst and anxiety because the people we normally go to for solutions, all of these entities, FDA, all of these things are shut down too. And so people were like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? Why are they telling us to do this? And with cognitive dissonance, it is when you do something that you know is not the thing to do, but you still do it. And so I was able to kind of weigh in on that. As they said, well, we'll be back out by Easter. And I was like, no, we won't. If this is what it is and what I'm looking at, we'll still be locked down on Easter. And people were like, well, it's not real. You don't have to wear a mask. And some people still say that.
Right.
But it's like.
But I agree because I see, or I guess what we learned during the pandemic is if they say it's one-time use, it's not really one-time use because I can throw it in a V-Pro and then give it back to you. And so people were confused and people were, going with the flow, nobody knew what was happening. And I see that from the book perspective because I read it and it tied everything together because nobody know what was happening.
Yeah.
It was uncharted territory. And I saw the list of the writers and I was like, oh, this is a dynamic group here.
Yeah. What we found out is that our IFUs during that time were really like suggestions, like best by dates. You know, when you buy milk or eggs, they say it's best by this date. However, if that's the last thing of milk and you're not going to get to the grocery store, you may have to open it up and smell it and be like, well, we're going to try it.
Right.
And because we were in such dire situations. And on the other side of that, for those of us who were hearing that and having to adhere to these emergency use and trying to figure things out, it taught us, hopefully it taught us, that you know what, you do have to have grace. Because in our mind, these people are quote unquote supposed to know something. But that's like saying your manager is supposed to know this or a supervisor is supposed to know that. That supposed to is going to have you disappointed and frustrated. We actually have to look at what is. And now we have to deal with what is and come from that what is place. And so, yeah, man, I was really excited about being included in that, what I learned during the pandemic. Again, and that some of that stuff started from Reset. from reset, you know?
So we got Hold Your Form, we had the Wild, we got UCDI,
Mhm.
and all of it leads to what I know that people want to hear about: the reset. I keep saying it. I've said it in the right lead up to this. We talk about it as the program itself reset. I know earlier you said it's a 30-day. Explain to people, I guess, the program without giving away the secrets. What is reset? What can reset do for somebody who comes to you and say, Sharyn, I really need your assistance with getting me to the next level. And you say, hey, I got this program being coming around in August. Join us. What can I expect to be a part of reset?
Synergy. Reset is synergy, and it's movement for you. It's moving your needle forward. Like if you come to me and you ask me about change the narrative, like the progressive leadership or language mastery, then I'm going to tell you some things that help with vision casting and how to get your life moving forward. Reset is the kickstart. It
Okay.
has some tidbits from all my other programs, but it is the concentrated tidbit. Reset is the booger with the sugar. It started it all. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And with the reset, your needle is going to move forward. It's going to move forward. If you don't move forward in the reset, it's because you just planted your feet and said, I'm not going. But the reset itself, if you come and you're like, hey, I feel like I'm just existing. I feel stuck. I don't know. There's so much going on. I can't even hear myself think. I don't even know how to quiet my thoughts. The reset is really, it has practical tools, and it has inspirational tools, and it has synergy, and it has, like, we do some one-on-one things in that August group. Now, don't get me wrong. People can go through the reset on their own. They can just go to my app and they can purchase the reset and work on it on their own. And I'm like, go ahead and do it if that's what you like. I love it. I love it for you. If you are somebody who can work things out and you'll work it out on your own, great. The better part to me, though, is doing it with the synergy.
Right.
Because if you study like brain stuff, you will find out salesmen know this anyway. Most people want to be right. And so if you're doing it by yourself, you're probably outside of something happening that facilitates an aha moment, like, you got it, those moments. Most people are going to come up with the same conclusion they had before, just with more information. They're going to use the information they have to support what their position is, even if their position is preventing them from moving forward. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
So give it with the daily assignments, or it's 30 days. So
30 days.
Each assignment, if people miss something, that's just them not doing the work, because y'all do go over everything, correct?
Yeah, we go over everything. The reset is designed, again, if your needle doesn't move forward, you get your money back. I don't tell you to send me the workbook back or anything like that. You get your money back, and grace to you. Because whenever you make a decision to move forward, things will fall into place, but also opposition will come. Everything that doesn't want to move, people don't realize that, but you got to fight for good habits. Inertia, a body at rest wants to stay at rest. A body in motion wants to stay in motion. Some of your habits have some good seats. They have the best seat in the house, and it could be a bad habit, and you say you want to get rid of it, but it's used to being there. You have to do something to unseat that habit. You just can't say, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to do that again. You probably are going to do that because your focus is still there. So you have to have things to replace some of that with the reset, man. I'm telling you.
So that's going back
to is a game changer.
That's going back to what you said originally. People have to put in the work. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to drive, is that, like, you can give them the program, you can give them all the tools, but if you don't do the work to get to that next level, or at least adhere to the rules of the reset, then you're basically back at square one.
Yeah, and it's not horrible work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely not. It's not.
It's not horrible work. This thing is honed down. Like I said, I used to do it. I still do the reset. I reset at least twice a year. I still do the reset. Now, when we do it in August, I start a little early so that I can be available for the people in the live group, and I can be fully present for them. They're not there to watch me hash out my stuff. I'm there to serve in that capacity. And so I started a little earlier, but it's honed down now. So things I was doing year one when I was doing it by myself, some of that stuff I'm not doing. We're not doing it in the group reset,
Right.
We're not. That was for me. But everything inside the reset applies for the people who are in. It's something you can use. It's going to move you forward, and it is designed to build one on the other. You don't have homework that takes you 6 or 7 hours at all.
I appreciate that. And family, the reset. Make sure if you just have any more questions, definitely reach out to Sharyn and get a little bit more information on that. I want to take another quick commercial, and then you mentioned something that I want to come back to, and it was the language mastery and that set of skills, because I know that UCDI actually helps with that as well. So I want to give people a little bit of gist of what that means, because I know some people like, I know how to talk, but we're going to give them a little bit more what the language mastery is for their life. But after this commercial, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Family, you see right there. Are you ready? Reach out to UCDI and let's reset. The first commercial there explained it exactly the way I wanted you to give it to the people. What does language mastery mean?
Language mastery means you're mastering language. You're mastering language. The ability to be able to say one thing 3 different ways, to want to select what words you use, to be intentional in your word selection. There are words that are designed to inspire, words that are designed to propel, words that are designed to bring attention to. And so being aware of that, because communication is important. You can use it for interviews, to inform, to persuade, to rally. Your communication, this is a harsh truth. Harsh truth is that your communication and your word choice, people will equate that with your level of intellect. They can be wrong, but initially that's how they're going to equate that. They're going to equate the words you use in your selection with intellect and with your capacity. So that's what language mastery does. It really helps, because communication is important regardless of your industry. Communication is important professionally, personally. John Maxwell will let you know. John Maxwell, Carnegie, Arbinger Institute, they'll let you know that 95% of arguments and things that happen, 95% of that is based on communication rather than the actual event or the instance or the occurrence. It's the communication around it.
So when you're saying helping us get to that level, as the commercial said, being, speaking with confidence and charisma, and as you just explained, being able to say something 3 different ways, does that mean we're relearning basic conversation, or is it changing the way we speak in groups?
It's both. It's effective communication. Whether you are giving a presentation to a room full of people, 200 or 300, you want to develop your conference speech or your keynote. It's also whether you're speaking to just a table at the environment occur meeting, being able to present what you need to present in a concise format, because in those meetings, we know no one has a lot of time. You
Right.
have decision makers. You know how hard it is to get 15 minutes on the calendar of a decision maker? And
Right.
so you're in this meeting and you need to be able to effectively communicate your points, what you need to say, sometimes in 3 minutes or less, and recognizing that. Like I'll share one thing that can be that will add value to the audience, I believe.
Okay.
Deciding the purpose of your communication beforehand. A lot of times people go to a meeting and they haven't decided the purpose of their communication. They may know the topic, but they don't know the purpose of their communication. Is it to inform or is it to explain? Is that not the same thing, Sharyn? No, it absolutely is not. Informing could just be giving someone an update. Explaining is your rationale behind it. And if you have a limited amount of time and you start off explaining, by the time you need to inform other critical things, your time is up. So inform, update, and then people can ask the clarifying questions if they need said questions, if they need those answers. But if you are in a position of authority, they may not want you to explain it. They just need the update. They trust you. That's why you're in that position. And if they have a question, then they will ask you a clarifying question about it. And so, again, knowing the purpose of your communication before that communication starts is very helpful.
So, how long is that course?
Oh,
For people inquiring, how long is the language mastery course?
8 weeks. 8 weeks. Now we do have some intense ones. We have some intensives where it's like an immersion training. And I tell people too, if you don't have the time, you may have the desire, but not the time. Don't get in language mastery. It's not inexpensive and it's not going to be inexpensive. I think the lowest I've ever done it is $555 because I know, it is going to shift. The reset is going to shift you. Language mastery is going to shift your trajectory all like professionally, period. And so.
Okay. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about the reset. Oh my goodness. Great course. I can honestly tell you I've done it myself. Definitely reach out if you need to reshift your focus and find out how you can get yourself to the next level. We talked about what they learned during the pandemic, a great read as well. Make sure you check that out. We talked about hold your form. We talked about UCDI itself, as in giving all of these avenues for people to do different things. Sharyn, I asked every guest the same question at the end of every show. If you have a leader out there, or even a tech at this point, if you have somebody who's unsure, who's trying to find their way, and just needs some words of encouragement, what would you say?
Be encouraged. You're like, that's so simple. No, be encouraged. Be is a verb. Be is a verb. This is why I say about intentionality. Sometimes we look outside of ourselves, and that's good if you have that. But sometimes you don't have it, and you have to look within too. And you have to be encouraged. What do you like to do? Do you like to roller skate? Do you like to listen to music? Do you need to go walking and look, over not the cliff, depending on how burnt out you are, but just go on a hike and scream very loud to relieve some pressure. Like, be encouraged. And you take that action verb there. Be, make it a verb and be encouraged. Find what's encouraging for you. Find what gives you your hum. What did you like before you were despondent? What did you like? What did you enjoy doing? Did you lose somebody? Even in the pandemic, was there a lot of loss? So many people have lost and they haven't, there hasn't been a rebound or a bounce back from that because they haven't had time to process that. So, really look at yourself. Don't navel gaze and get stuck on saying what's wrong about you. List the things that you like. Do a personal listing. These are things that we do. Do a personal listing of your strengths. Not just what you want to see improve, but what are some of your strengths? What are some things you're good at? What do you like doing? Find that and then be encouraged. Go encourage yourself. Do some of those things. You have the right to do it. The people who love you, who are around you in your sphere of influence, in your inner circle, they need the best of you, not the leftovers or the worst of you. So be encouraged. They need the best of you. Real talk, we all need the best of you.
Yes.
The industry needs the best of you. We need the best of you. And this is what I would say to them. You have the right to be the best of you. And if something is preventing that, find out what it is and address that thing. The same way we troubleshoot and find bottlenecks in the department, find out what that thing is. I know it may seem simple. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it is sometimes just that simple. Know that you're worth it. Know that you're worth it. I don't care what anybody tells you. Listen, UCDI, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Some of the things I've been able to do, if I can write a book, you can write a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Yes. So that's what I would say. Like, be encouraged. Be encouraged. And let stuff go. Forgive people. Forgive people. People may never understand your intentions. Let stuff go. They may never say, I'm sorry. But don't you be stuck on that.
Right.
Don't you be stuck because someone did something that caused your life to pause. It didn't end. Don't be afraid of being embarrassed. Everybody watching this right now has been embarrassed. But if you're watching it, you're still breathing. Let's move on. Let it go. Take the lesson and move on.
Very powerful. Very powerful. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Be encouraged. That's it. She said, very simple. Be encouraged. You can do it. I think the way that it comes off as simple as it does, people just now sit back and think about it like, wait a minute, you can do it. If you can do it, I can do it. It's very simple, but very powerful yet at the same time. I
want to share something. Can I share something?
Yes.
When I came up with UCDI, you can do it. And now on this side of life, you know, I studied language, I did different things, and I'm able to help VPs and directors really kind of revive morale and dismantle things that don't. But when I came up with UCDI, I was living in Atlanta, and I was making a change in my life. And I was scared about that change. You hear me? Everything was about to change. My friends, where I lived, everything. And I was like, but I felt like, and I knew it was like, no, this is the right move. But I don't know what it's going to look like. Like what you said, I don't know, Kenneth. I don't know 3 steps down the road. I don't have all this money saved up. My credit was boo-boo. I was like, and I was making a change. And when I made the change, I would love to tell you that I've not had any downs in my life, whatever. But this was like decades ago. So when I made the change, I went to a hotel. And I'm not talking like a 4 or 5 star. I'm talking like a hotel, like one of them hotels on the service road that say Ian on it or something like that, across from the Chili's and the Longhorn. And I went to the hotel and I had enough money maybe for 1 week to stay there 1 week. And I left where I was living. It was like, you've got to go. They didn't tell me I had to go. It was just like, I knew it was like, you've got to go.
Right.
You've got to go or you will be here. And I didn't want to be there forever. I love all of them. Everybody there. Love, love, love. But it was like, you've got to move. And this is what I'm talking about, timing. It can be hard, but also stuff will work for you. So I went to that hotel and I'm a person of faith. I prayed, you know, I was like such and such, and something was just like, you can do it. You can do it. And then I put a sign on the hotel door. I put a sign on my hotel room door. And all it says is UCDI meeting 6:30 p.m. I don't know who's going to walk in this room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. But I did it. And I held those meetings every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. East Coast time. And man, I'm telling you, I had some crazy folks. I'm staying at this hotel. I had some crazy folks coming in there, but I also had some folks coming in there who were at the end. They were burnt out. They were like, I don't know what to do. And such and such. And that's what I'm saying. For the reset now, that stuff is honed. It's tried and true. It is tried and true. For male, female, regardless of your age, it is going to give you what you need to move forward. And so I just wanted to share that story because that was the only thing I know is like, you can do it. I realized a lot of things over life is designed to tell you what you can't do, or this is too hard, or it ain't that easy, or everybody would do it. Sometimes you just have to put one foot in front of the other and try. If you haven't tried, how do you really know? And so I just wanted to share that story. And I'm going to share this and then I'll hush. In our last reset, there was a person in there who They had 3 goals. And when I tell you, each of those things was met. And one of them was getting another job. And they were specific about the state and the pay rate and everything. And we set it up. And I was like, do the work. If you do the thing, they said they wanted it to happen within 30 to 90 days. Reset is only 30. Before 60 days, that person sent something to us saying, hey, I got it. They were able to take their trip. They were able to make the moves they wanted to make, and they were able to come out of where they were and get the job making. And I didn't do any of that. They did the work. They just showed up and did the work. And they were like, thank you. And I'm like, no, thank you, because you did the work. So I just want to share those 2 stories. Like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Family, as you can see, as she said, like, we all go through something, and it's how we come out of it. I hear everybody saying that. It's like, it's not what you go through, it's what you do after that. And she made up her mind. She left a situation, and you can do it. Very simple. UCDI was on the door, and she still held her meetings and did everything. To the person that showed up and did the work, again, that's what we were talking about. Reset will give you the format, but you still have to come and do the work. And as she said, if you do the work, good things will happen for you. That's what we are here to show you. I just wanted y'all to see that UCDI was out there as an option for people looking to further their career with the language mastery, or, hey, I need to take a deep breath, come back and reset my chi. Reset can help you do that.
Yes.
These are all great things. Sharyn, how can people reach you?
You can reach me at Sharyn Combs, Sharyn Combs, SHARYN, Combs, like you comb your hair, but plural.com, UCDIleadership.com, and of course, LinkedIn. I am a fan of LinkedIn. Again, you don't know what's on the other side of a handshake, even a virtual one. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. But that's it. And for those of you who are interested, send me a private message on LinkedIn. There's an app. The app has free content on it. It has content that's not free as well. But those are some things that can help inspire you, some little tidbits day to day to help encourage you to move forward, to unlock some things. And yeah, I think the reset is a game changer. I think the reset is a game changer, and we do our best to make sure that the reset is affordable for everybody, So if you want to make some moves, then get in the reset.
Definitely, family. You got her information. Reach out to Sharyn. Let her help you today. And hey, we can all meet back here and let's talk about it. The reset is real. The reset is real. But take it from me. I went through it. The reset is real. You will get a lot out of it if you show up and do the work. Family, there you have it. We've been here. It's been time to talk. As always, I will see y'all again next week, family, with another dynamic guest. Sharyn, thank you so much for coming through and just letting people hear, some of the refreshingness of when they know they want to make a change and don't know how. And now they have an outlet or somewhere they can go to at least get some guidance on what can I do next. Even down to, like, I know a lot of people talk about getting into speaking. Language mastery can help you be that speaker that people want to hear. I saw it on there, said leaders become speakers and speakers become leaders. It's there. Like, you bring that out of people, and I appreciate it. The industry appreciates you. Just want to give you your flowers and say thank you for everything you do for the industry. Family, reach out to her. She said you can check her on LinkedIn, go to the websites. She is here for us. Take advantage of it while it's here. Sharyn, thank you. Family, thank you. Again, see y'all next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.